Welcome to This Is My Code. I'm Boaz, and I have here with me Alex from CyberArk. Hi, Alex.
Hi.
Welcome to This Is My Code.
Thank you.
Tell us a bit about CyberArk.
Well, we're the world leader in privileged access management. We help our customers secure all those sensitive assets, such as credentials and others.
So we're going to talk today about one of your projects. We have here a code snippet that deploys an application. Can you walk us through quickly on this code?
Sure. So we have a CDK stack here, and it deploys a simple DynamoDB table. It defines an IAM role for the Chalice microservice later. It grants the IAM role access to read-write data from the DynamoDB table, and then it defines the Chalice configuration, referencing other constructs that we defined previously. Once we have the configuration, we create the Chalice construct and deploy the Chalice application.
Okay. So you mentioned several technologies. What is Chalice and what are you using it for?
Well, Chalice is a micro framework for developing serverless microservices. And we chose to use it because we're coming from an on-prem monolith-based solutions. And we wanted to give our developers a similar way to develop serverless microservices. And Chalice is really great for that because all you have to do is define this little decoration about your function, give it the API gateway path, the HTTP method, and you can write like you would on-prem.
Okay, so you're using Chalice to define and manage your microservices, and I assume you're using CDK to manage your entire infrastructure.
Yeah, so Chalice can deploy the API gateway and the Lambda itself, but it cannot deploy everything else, like DynamoDB tables, IAM roles. So we have to use CDK, which is great because we can define the infrastructure as real code and not as configuration like you would in CloudFormation.
So it looks like both technologies overlap a bit.
Yeah, so one of the issues is that Chalice handles the deployment of the API gateway in the Lambda, but CDK handles everything else. So if we want to reference other construct that we defined in CDK in the Chalice application, then we have a bit of an issue because we first have to deploy the CDK application and then somehow get the resource identifiers and pass them to the Chalice configuration before we can deploy the Chalice application.
So I assume you have a solution for that?
Of course. So we have an open source library here that defines a Chalice construct for CDK. And it allows us to define the Chalice application as part of the same CDK stack.
Okay, and what's the advantage from the developer point of view?
Well, the developers gain the ability to have everything in one place. When they're defining the Chalice configuration, they can reference other constructs that they defined in the CDK stack in the same place, and then have everything deployed in one go.
Yeah, and so you have your infrastructure here with CDK, straightforward, a table, some IAM roles, and then your application definitions going to Chalice to this library.
Yes, everything in one place, and it's really easy for them to see everything, and there are less issues.
That's great. I really like it. And if you want to learn more about this solution using Chalice and CDK together in the same deployment, we just published a blog post about it. We're going to add a link in the notes here. Thank you very much for watching. This is my code.